The Bakushi is the master of illusion. And if everyone believes the illusion, it becomes reality. Bakushi thinks he's won the game, but he didn't count on a pinch hitter.
All is continuous vibration, always in motion. Conductor of energy, assault in the ocean. Serpent is the sine wave, polarities interwoven. A chemical sorcery, elixirs and potions. Resonant frequencies, molecular explosions. Your daily programs is heavy doses of hypnosis. People walk around blind even though their eyes are open. No time for ideological salesmen with biblical notions. That box in your room, televised lies through your vision. It doesn't matter your race, status, or religion. No longer have to beat you when your mind is locked in prison. That food is filled with toxins, it's why you can't think clear. Illusion of choice is your option while keeping all in fear. Load up all your weaponry, the revolution is here. I said load up all your weaponry, the revolution is here.
We ain't in the same place or occupy the same space. So get the fuck out my face.
In the instant, I changed the mission with photosynthesis. Witness the synthesis, ripping endless on instruments. Feel the frequency, energy off this Hennessy synergy. Literally those that take us to infinity. Reading articles, all is horrible, calling audibles. I'm remarkable, I shot a fed at a carnival. Dust and particles, follicles gon' be everywhere. Heavy pair of some pistols, I shot him holding that teddy bear. Fuck the system, let's keep it simple, let's raise the temple. Make them triple while you're going to where they all assemble. Not Avengers, I'm the Avenger, I seek the injure. Kept my temper till I stuck the hidden blade up in her. Fuck the ruler, here's what they doing to you. Poison water in the food is what you put into you. I'm the shooter with new maneuvers. Caught back to Ruger, super trooper. He is gonna need a pooper scooper. The revenge of Montezuma. Rocking my Pumas, uppercut like a Kuma, sending you straight to Luna. Cosmic verses from universes on new excursions, emerging the virgin. I pull the back, the iron curtain. War leaders are war eaters, born cheaters, war sneakers, rearrange their core features. Born reaper, hurricane, the sword keeper. Form ether, burn all of the mold geezers. Up in government, parliament, bitch, I'm tarnishing ornaments. Ain't no bargaining, throw a bomb in the audience. I'm the guardian, strange you all in a cardigan. Rearrange the universe, I am the artisan.
We ain't in the same place or occupy the same space. So get the fuck out my face.
As a king, fighting the spirit of Mesa King, vibing to my queen, playing the tambourine, while I'm eating the tangerine. My plasma was replaced with gasoline, got the blood of the Elohim, manifesting through a dream, a shit you never seen. I got the eyes of Medusa and the hands of Wolverine, astral project with my inner being. We locked in the inner ring, hoping the Anunnaki intervene. While the world is under siege, they got an abyss under the sea, living underneath. Lightning struck me standing under a tree while I was crumbling weed, and an angel swooped down, put me under her wing. Now she shields me from my desires the devil brings. Say my name in vain and you will never bleed. Say my name in vain and you will never bleed.
The Bakushi is the master of illusion. And if everyone believes the illusion, it becomes reality.
What is good? Man, these people who sunk were first. Oh. Peace to Dom. Dom is going to be called King Lynx. The King of Lynx. these people that sank. I'm trying to see how they were a threat to the Rothschilds or the Rockefellers or damn, Thomas Andrews was the shipbuilder and he went down. Wow. Isidore Strauss, co-owner of Macy's. Like, I just don't see what the big deal is. Isidore Strauss had a net worth of $4 million, equivalent to 87.4 million today. And then John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. John Jacob Astor the Sixth, the richest man on the Titanic, having a net worth of 87 mil, equivalent to 2.2 bill. They recovered his body. So why were they such a threat is the question. There's a wild conspiracy theory that the Rothschilds sank the Titanic to set up the Federal Reserve. Now, this is the theory I heard too. Let's see. What? This guy said, on Friday, I stumbled across a tweet sent in reply to a prominent finance parody account on Twitter. It featured the black and white image of 3 men in the Titanic. The text on the photos named Benjamin Guggenheim, Issa Strauss, actual name is Isidore Strauss, and John Jacob Astor as 3 wealthy men who died on the Titanic. So far, so good. The men were all real and wealthy. Below each name, it says, they opposed the new Federal Reserve Bank. The Titanic sinking happened in 1912, and the opening of the Federal Reserve happened in 1913. The exact year America was taken over from the inside out, like a parasite gets in your body from the inside out. Yup. Good old 13. That's why they love the number 13. That's the year they took over America. All right. So the Titanic sinking was the hint that their opposition to the Fed and their deaths were somehow linked. And he said, I had to find out. I Googled their names and found that it was indeed a conspiracy theory. Websites with names like Before It's News, Disinfo, and it's wild, man. When somebody comes up with a theory, you'll always see 190 websites trying to counter it. That's when I really look at the theory, because I question automatically, why are people going out of their way so much to shut this up? I mean, it makes sense so far. Hold on. Let me make this better. I'm going to share what I'm reading. So let's see if Restream's going to let me in without fucking me over. All right. As with many other conspiracy theories, there's a transparently anti-Semitic tint to the story, and the Rothschild family is implicated, as it is in almost every conspiracy theory involving money in any way. Yeah, they always say follow the money. A YouTube video offers some additional information, hinting that the sinking of the Titanic was effectively drawn up as a recreation of a late 19th century book called Futility, or The Wreck of the Titan. Man, I wonder if he's going to bring up the theory I heard about boats. They look identical. And this guy, his theory was the original Titanic didn't sink. It was the look-alike one. If anyone ever heard of that. All right. The book was published 14 years before the Titanic sank. So that would be 1898. And a decade before any construction began. Hold up. So that's 24 years. 14 years before the Titanic sank and a decade before the construction began. I'm confused here. The video goes on to say that by April of 1912, all opposition to the Federal Reserve was eliminated. In December of 1913, the Federal Reserve was born, controlled by the elite banking cabal, whose ultimate agenda was to enslave humanity. Well, yeah. The theory has been debunked. No, pretty conclusively. And apparently, there's a variant of it in which the men are opponents of the federal income tax rather than the Fed. Other versions suggest the Catholic Order of Jesuits is involved. A further conspiracy suggests that J. Morgan, the plutocrat financier who set up the investment bank that still bears his name, arranged to have the men board the ship and then sink it. Morgan did have a hand in the creation of the Federal Reserve, and it owned the International Mercantile Marine, which owned the White Star Line, which owned the Titanic. That's pretty much where the evidence ends. Well, let's see if he adds in that J.P. Morgan backed out the last hour. He didn't even get on the Titanic. He was supposed to be there. So was Rothschild. That ain't fishy. There's little information online to suggest that the three men who died were even opponents of the Federal Reserve. Any search for Federal Reserve along with any of their names becomes so bogged down its conspiracist website that it's difficult to find any reputable source of information. Well, yeah, they're going to do that with a lot of stuff on these computers. They're going to clean up a lot of shit. That's what they do with old records and stuff. There's also a lot of chatter about the idea that the Titanic shouldn't have sunk just because it hit an iceberg. A sort of jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams. People start thinking with common sense, they call it conspiracy theories. But what's going on here? My God. Oh, fuck. The Federal Reserve Act was passed by the 63rd, of course, 3 6s, United States Congress and signed into law by President Woodrow Wilson.
December 23rd, 1913. The law created the Federal Reserve System, the central banking system of the United States. Following the 1912 elections, in which Democrats gained control of the Congress and the presidency, President Wilson, Congressman Carter Glass, see through his bullshit, and Senator Robert Latham Owen. Yeah, he's Owen, all right. Introduced legislation to create a central bank. The proposal was shaped by debate between those who favored private control of a central bank, such as proponents of the earlier Eldridge Plan. What's that? The National Monetary Commission was a U.S. congressional commission created by the Aldrich-Vreeland Act of 1908. After the Panic of 1907, the commission studied the banking laws of the United States and the leading countries of Europe. The chairman of the commission, Senator Nelson Eldridge. We'll get back into that. Proponents of the earlier, hold on. All right. So yeah, it even says right here, the proposal was shaped by debate between those who favored private control of the central bank and those who didn't. If it's backed by nothing, why would people? I know why, but I'm just saying, people with common sense would have known what was up right there. And then those people were sunk on a ship. Like the article said that you can't find nothing really with their name in it that opposes. Well, I'm going to do my own research to find out. I mean, see what I could find. Oh, no, where was I? And those who favored government control, including progressives like William Jennings Bryan. Wilson prioritized the bill as part of the New Freedom Domestic Agenda, and it passed Congress largely as introduced. The Federal Reserve Act created the Federal Reserve System. Yeah. The word system, a stem of infections. It's a cyst. It's a cyst that needs to be cleaned out. Consisting of 12 regional Federal Reserve banks, 12 of them, jointly responsible for managing the money supply. I bet you there's 13 now. Making loans and providing oversights to banks, and serving as a lender of last resort. It also, yeah, they'll lend you money. You got to pay back at 25%. Anyway, it also established the Federal Reserve Board of Governors. The Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System, commonly known as the Federal Reserve Board, is the main governing body of the Federal Reserve System. It is charged with overseeing the Federal Reserve banks
and with helping implement the monetary policy of the United States. So the Federal Reserve Board of Governors, oops, what was that? The macroeconomics money supply. I can't select that. What's up with that? Oh. Anyway, I'll come back to that. So the Federal Reserve Board of Governors, members of which are appointed by the President, the 1933 Banking Act amended the Federal Reserve Act to create the Federal Open Market Committee. Federal Open Market Committee is a committee with a reserve system that is charged under United States law with overseeing the nation's open market operations. They always create a Ponzi scheme, right? They got someone looking over someone, looking over someone, looking over someone, looking over. It's just never ending. They create all these fucking, which oversees the, so these people oversee this, this oversees that. Before you know it, you're like, what? There's no one you could blame. Federal Open Market Committee, which oversees the Federal Reserve's open market operations. Yeah, open to print as much money as they want. It's a AMO. A later amendment required the Federal Reserve to aim for maximum employment, stable prices, and moderate long-term interest rates. The Federal Reserve Act created a system of private and public entities. There were to be at least 8 and no more than 12 private regional Federal Reserve banks. Each have various branches. A board of directors and district boundaries, blah, blah, blah. What's good, Yahweh? Wow. The government was burdened with large wartime debts. Yeah. And the new public needed the new public needed to pay their debts. They had to create a system. They created a system that's backed by nothing, but it's backed by faith. Oh man, it's backed by a man's word you can't trust. That shit's backed by toilet paper. So the first bank was established in 1791. This article is about the late 18th century federal institution and is not to be confused with the second, well, obviously, Second Bank of the United States, the early 20th century corporation, the Bank of the United States, or, okay. So this bank wasn't under the corporation. Those must have been good times until the corpse showed up. Was a national bank chartered for a term of 20 years by the United States Congress on February 25th, 1791. It followed the Bank of North America, the nation's first de facto national bank. What the fuck's a de facto? We'll find out. De facto is a Latin term meaning in fact or in reality. Interesting. Jeez. Yeah, I pressed that button. Come on. Oh. What the fizzle brizzle? I hit that. There we go. What's up, Dom? Dominic Wilkins. Oh, we're gonna freeze up now? Fuck. Oh. this? What is this? Get out of here. Oh, I put him back again? I just let him up. Restream, what are you doing, man? My God, there we go. Damn, I hit the button like an hour ago. I think I should get back to my phone. It's gonna freeze. Can you hear me, Dom? Source not shown.
Yeah, I can hear you.
What?
I can hear you, Charles.
Oh, okay. Yeah. StreamYard's acting up. It could be just me, my equipment.
Isn't the old saying, you pay for what you get?
Yeah, that's true because I didn't pay him yet. So this happened with StreamYard too. And then when I started paying, it all went away. It never froze up again. I'm just trying to learn more about this Federal Reserve illusion that's backed by nothing.
Well, it has to be backed by something.
Well, it's almost like it's backed by it's supposed to be backed by gold, but now it's just backed by I want to see how the Social Security cards tie in.
But isn't that the initial premise, that it was initially backed up by gold?
Yeah, originally was.
Okay. And who are the gold? Who? Go ahead. Sorry, are you there, Charles?
Let's see what they say. Boom.
Who are the holders of the gold?
Come on. There we go. Oh, that's not nothing.
Okay. It's usually generational wealth families. They've got most of that gold from previous wars. So when they removed the backing of gold for Federal Reserve, then they put the oil. This is why in the 60s anyway.
I didn't even think of that
late
oil.
60s.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia
So back it up.
backed by oil.
Yeah. So at that point, it's kind of like somebody sponsoring you. Who's sponsoring you? Who's financing you? So the Federal Reserve is just the means that the citizens play with, but who backs it? So when you say it's backed up by nothing, that's kind of erroneous. It is backed up by something. Now, is Federal Reserve the piece of paper? Is it manufactured, like they print it or digify it? Yes, but who are the ones that are financing it? And what are they doing? Most of the people that are generational wealth will not use gold. They'll use it to back it up, but it never leaves wherever it's stored. So for a lot of countries, eventually they have to back it with their citizens. Labor. In America, it's based on the illusion of the pensioners. Or at least that's the debt. And the only way you can pay off your debts is with that piece of paper. Unless you don't want to play with the system anymore.
I'm trying to let Yahweh up. He's there.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
He was just
finally. There he is. Hopefully, there we go. Yeah, this happens too when it booted him back. That's what I'm talking about. Let's try again. Damn, Yahweh, why'd you leave? Oh well.
It's like, Charles, a lot of the wars have been backed up by gold. So now who's a holder of gold? This is kind of like the ideal of, I'm trying to think of the TV series that they did, the one with the dragon in it. The Seven Kingdoms. You know, so they're always looking for more military source. So who's financing it? Sometimes it's the Vatican that's financing it, or England is financing it. No country is an island by itself. So America is just a whorehouse that they get all their resources from, or in this case, all their military people from. It's just the Roman Empire or the British Empire all over again. But again, who finances it?
Oh. Let me switch over to my phone. All right, that's better. There will be no more freezing, hopefully. Come back up, Yahweh. Maybe he don't know how to do the volume thing, I don't think. It's no different from StreamYard. Tommy said the banking system is Babylonian. Hey, 5-speed. Tammy. What's up, Max? What do you think you think that oil's backing our system today? Oil and our social security card.
It's backing up Federal Reserve notes. It's not backing up you. You almost have to take yourself out of the picture, Charles, to see it for what it is. So you have a system. Whether or not you want to call it Federal Reserve, you can call it redwood tree branches, and then everybody has to trade with that. So at that point, you know, when a person thinks it's our currency, it's not your currency. So
Hold on. Can you hear us, Yahweh? I don't know if he's trying to say something. Let me look.
I guess, Charles, the way I can explain it is, what do people drive? Cars, buses. So that needs gas. It needs oil. So that's what it's backed. So now, because a lot of people now have a lot of the products made from that digital stuff, now we can go to something else. So in this case, it's still backed by something, but we're just going to use something else. We'll go to a digital system. Yeah. If we didn't have cars, then really, why would we need oil to back it up? You know, every time somebody buys gas, they're purchasing into generational wealth. The government might get a certain percentage of it, so they say, but it's usually big corporations that own all those things.
Yahweh, your camera came on, so I don't know why the sound wouldn't work. Let's try this. Hide camera, keep audio. I don't want to hit that. Yeah, it should work. What did you have to do, Don? Remember when you came off? I know all I had to do was basically nothing, right? It just said this app is using your thing, and I said, yeah.
Well, you're the host. The first time when I came up, what I did was a screen comes up if you want to disconnect your microphone, and if you do that, it just won't play again. So eventually I had to reboot it, and then when it asked me that same thing, I said allow this time. So at this point, my mic will actually work.
Yeah, it did the same to me.
Yeah. So he might have pushed the wrong button, or he pushed a button that denounces him from allowing to use the microphone.
That's tough.
Yeah, as the Restream becomes more popular, it'll probably there'll be a lot of people using it, and it'll probably clog it up. And then this is why they'll start charging more, because then they'll have to have different programmers and different systems running. That's why these other systems is why you pay what you pay. You know, it takes a lot to maintain these systems, and I get it. For most people, the only line is financial. They might complain about, you know, how it's delivered and all that. And of course,
StreamYard ain't worth no $50 a month, and that's their only option.
Well, is a Ferrari worth $1 million compared to a Honda that's worth only maybe $30,000 or $40,000? It depends on your application and what you need it for. So in this particular case, the people that actually have big channels would benefit from Streamline. But small channels, you only need it for certain things. It might be an overkill. So then they offer something less. So in this case, they've done a thing called Restream. It's still Streamline. This is called Restream.
Yeah.
You know, we're getting in this case the citizens packages. You know, the lesser packages. You know, you want the Mercedes and Rolls Royce package. We can't afford it.
I'm happy with. To me, Restream has all the same things that I was using on StreamYard, and it's cheaper.
Well, that's important for a lot of people. It's cheaper. That's why we have things called like Dollarama, dollar stores. You want it cheaper, but still being made in the same place.
I like that older stuff. It seems to be more durable and dependable.
Yeah, they worked out the bugs, 5-speed. They've worked out the bugs, and in exchange to maintain it, you're going to have to pay more. This is part of the economy that we live in.
A part of the United States economy.
It's probably bigger than that, Charles.
Mind state.
Yeah, but it's bigger than that, Charles. Canada and America is just a small little bucket. You know, when you talk about India and China's usage of online presence, America's the little.
Yeah, but places like China, and like Dubai. Why is Dubai so rich? And they don't overcharge anything, man. They give a lot of stuff to their people for free. Dubai is, and these people don't pay taxes.
Yeah, but Dubai's been broke 7 or 8 times. It's kind of like it's like the Federal Reserve in America. You know how many times it went broke when it was building all those major highways in New York? Hence why America's in such a big debt. To keep that empire running, you can't expect your citizens to say, listen, we're going to give you all our labor for free. No, you're going to have to give it in exchange for something that's going to be indebted to you and future generations. Our future generations can thank us for where we're standing right now, for the debt that we're going to incur for them.
See, that's one of the things that I've always thought about was this financial system and this whole belief in the higher creation, and then within the oath of who's administering that in that house. It's crazy that when we see that all of that's been turned upside down now, and all of that business is not for any profitable gain
There we go.
to humanity.
There you go. Oh, that's you, 5-speed. Damn, I don't know.
And I guess I look at that financial system as
can't get it going.
As the tool to life. And what we bring to that table should be what's judged, because most people are just there to take from that table. And as bad as it sounds, if you've not got any value to bring to protecting that house or that way of life or family tradition, God, whatever you want to call it, then why should you have such a big voice in the direction forward? That seems to be what's hindering all of us.
Well,
Peace, Phil.
A lot of people at present 5-speed aren't really learning a craft that they can truly barter with. So now you have to interject a financial system that it's going to put all of us into debt. So now if I was a farmer and I was growing potatoes and you were a farmer and you were planting trees with apples, we could barter. And then we would know the energy that we would have to expend. But unfortunately, once you instill things such as financial things like fiat currency or the mastery slavery game, then that's where you're talking about it's upside down.
Right.
And at that point,
here in America, but here in America, though, we're under that Constitution, obviously. And that Constitution, no matter how you want to look at it, is a contract. And within that Constitution, there are contracts that are outmixed to protect that benefit system, which is the reason for the signature. And there's also the reason the G is silent in the word sign, right? If we didn't come in there in good faith consciousness to move humanity forward as a whole, well, we just lied, and we just showed our self-righteousness, our selfishness, and our lack of compassion and care
so let's
for
look
other
at the
living beings.
Yeah. Let's look at the Constitution for the way it was written. We the people and our prosperity. Let's change the word.
Yeah,
when they say we the people,
the Act of 1871, where they changed the word "for" to the word "of."
Okay, so regardless of the wording, I get the legalese, but we the people, we the nobles, and our prosperity, our bloodline. That the Constitution wasn't written for the peasants or the citizens of that country. So now if they understand that, then you'll understand how Freemasonry comes to be. You're allowed to build freely on a piece of land that already has rulers. So this is why in China, in India, even in America, it's still being ruled by the British Empire. Now, they might have people that are born citizens or people that become citizens of that country that they'll probably be able to be like governments, but they're not the owners, let alone the rulers of that land. So now what they did in the 1800s, they removed we the nobles, so that's new money opposed to the old money, and said, okay, we're going to go under corporations now. Now, who rules corporations? Generational wealth. Again, none of that 5-speed has to do with the citizens of that country at all. So when somebody says, but I'm under the Constitution.
We didn't create any of it.
No, well, you didn't make it. But at the same time, those are the people, and we can thank our forefathers to fight their wars.
But we have access and use.
Yes, but again, the empire called America, once you factor in all their future pensioners and all that, it's $300 trillion in the hole. That's why when they valued America's currency at 5 cents, 9 cents to the dollar in 2005, then you can follow the... So at that point, 5-speed, then you can follow why they had the buyout and they did all these other stuff and how Russia, ruble, and the Chinese yen have been financing that empire because it's ready to eventually move, collapse. They'll do what they did with the Roman Empire. They'll probably bring the Ottoman Empire just to finish it off. So now, when America, as much as no offense to the American citizens, because a lot of them, they're there for a job, whether it's in the military and they want free education or an education that's under debt, or they want the medical. When they say, I'm fighting for the liberty of my country, well, first of all, it's an erroneous speech. And second of all, you're not defending a country when you're in somebody else's landmass. That is the foot soldiers.
Well, I think you lose me when you say somebody else's landmass. What do you mean by that?
Different parts of the Earth's surface, that the absence of water is landmass. That's all it is, the absence of water. And then we have the illusion.
Somebody else's, as if someone else owns it.
Yeah, there is owners. Humans can only rule it.
I think the minute you own something is the minute you already fucked up.
That's right. I'm with you, 5-speed. That's the trick that's played on humanity. Give them the idea that you can own something, then you can take it away from them. Dare not be like a tribal people that say things like, I just steward the land, like I steward my vessel. So when people say they own things, I say, what do you own? Tell me what you own. Do you own the thoughts that you have? Well, no. Do you own the vessel that you have? Well, yeah. Well, then who takes over when you go to sleep? Who runs it right now? Again, that's where the other part of us is always running. This is where the subconscious just kicks in. So for a lot of people, they want to be misled in the conscious state. So I get it.
So
people say, go ahead.
Yeah. So what I've learned here in America through my own research is, when you do bring in that, we'll say that higher creator, in all of your business, not just some of the business, but all of the business, it would make sense that if in the Midwest in America provides enough soil, land to provide the crop to feed the world with an abundance, it would seem to me that it would make sense that is what's protected. That is the house, that is the table, and that's what you're accountable and responsible to. If we give up that, then we're fucked. So if we control the food supply, we control the business. If you're gonna eat, you're gonna do good business.
But how many people truly participate in the reproduction of, eating farm animals or?
Well, unfortunate for them, I believe the record was already created and established. Somebody just played around with that and are about to be fucked.
And we can thank our forefathers for that.
Absolutely.
We all participate in it, and we're just passing the hot potato to the next generation. You know, like
Right. But I think the
Whatever's
key
left of
topic
it.
is mental illness because a lot of people believe a lot of shit and they think a lot of shit, but it brings nothing to the table for their children's futures.
true, or
It's
our future.
insanity.
Well, it is insanity, and I'm glad you brought in the mental part. But for a lot of folks, they're not developed emotionally, so they'll quickly get into their emotions and quickly defend something or attack something without truly questioning it. Oh, okay, so what does that mean to me? Hence the word
Exactly,
meaning.
which shows the foundation is a little unstable.
It is, and it's easy to be misled because it's already done. That broken leg is within oneself, or that wobbly one leg on a four-legged table or a three-legged table. So they're not even balanced within oneself. So at that point, how can you possibly expect change when obviously they're maintaining the erroneous way of seeing things?
Mhm.
That's a challenge for most folks because then they're going to say, oh, fuck, I've been misleading myself the whole time. So then what have I been doing looking outside for? You're just looking for things to reinforce your distractions. You know, and then that's when you start getting into, oh, so my conscious state is actually very limited. Damn right it is. You know, you can only see and hear certain things. It's not like as though when people tell me, okay, well, Dom, a dog can hear far away. Well, how do we know that? Well, we use some sort of device that can give us that ability. I said, okay, so the naked ear can't hear that. No. So then who gave us that technology? That's when you start probing and then you start realizing how much humanity doesn't fucking create anything here. Something's interfering with all of this. Or that's maybe by design. By design.
Well, I'm one that I always say that, from that mental side, the mental illness side, I think the reason that hasn't been corrected yet is because there's a lot of people think two wrongs make something right when it doesn't. Never has and never will.
Mm-hmm. It's when you start no longer entertaining right and wrong, unless you want to do four rights in England and then you could do a roundabout. Again, that's the division that people play. It's either or, good and evil. No, it's good and evil. It's together. Right and left is directions. Right and wrong from both
Right.
position is very pious. Who am I to tell somebody else if it's right, let alone wrong in that moment? That's for them to figure out.
I think
Best
the
we can do
key
each
is
other.
balance between that right and wrong, the good and the bad, the stable and the unstable, the conscious and the not so conscious.
Well, I get that. Spice-P, this is where people play this game of zeros and ones. I'm like, zeros and ones. We have all these different numbers and you just want to play zeros and ones? Let alone black and white. We have so many different shades and colors. Why play black and white? That's the people that play the glasses half full, half empty. I said, you want to play duality and then force yourself into singularity? Really, that's interesting. We live in a multi-dimensional universe. And it's not like as though we'd be talking about we all have one blood type, we all have one culture, we all have one religion. No, we have many variations. So instead of fighting the system, try to understand it. And when a person understands it, that would imply they have discernment. But for most people, at best, in this age of information, they might go from belief systems to knowledge. That's it. And at that point, let them be. Let them be. They're going to do things, but they're also going to be things. And for most people, they're going to say, Dom, I'm going to experience things. I said, okay, so how many of us are going to have to put their hands on the stove to become wise? I would hope that only one person has to do it and the rest of us can observe it and say, you know something, I'm grateful that you did that, but I don't think I need to do that. But again, that's where most people, whether they're aware of it or not, they're self-absorbed. They're so selfish, they don't even know how selfish they are. But yet they'll say shit like I'm independent. Not when you're living in civilization. You're more dependent than you were if you took your chance with nature. But even though nature will tell you in a short period of time, are you going to work with us or are you going to fight us? Because you're going to lose every fucking battle with us.
Ain't that the truth?
Again, the best we could do is share with each other. And then if a person chooses to at least adhere to it and then do the work when they're no longer online reading a book, for most people, this is a quick fix. A tune up and then go back out there. I said, so how are you maintaining the car? Well, I just drive it and I fill it with gas. And maybe once in a while I'll top up the oil. Oh, okay. Good for you. Well done. And what do you do when you no longer take care of your car and it runs down? I'll just buy a new one. I said, so you're just going to get a new body then? There you go. Let them be.
Mhm.
This is not for the masses. The masses are already doing what they're doing. They're fueling a system that they don't even question. It'd be different if people say, well, Dom, I really believe in Federal Reserve. I said, do you ever question the system? Do you ever question how it came to be? Well, not really. Do you ever question how we get all this technology? Well, not really. So then you're a fucking sleep. So it's all plug and play for you. And then those are the people that are going to argue with you. Go ahead, Pastor.
What a lot of people don't comprehend as well is that the need is what creates the profits. That's where the gain comes from. You gain the knowledge to not do that again.
Or at least try to understand why you did it in the first place, let alone why you tempted to do it again or not do it again. Again, that comes with awareness. But for most folks, from what I hear, and I can say that about myself, because in a lot of areas I'm blind. But I know the stuff that I do, and I do it like a mantra. So eventually I can comprehend and say, okay, well, that's interesting, Dom. You're still going to play the system. Yeah, but I'm just trying to understand the system at best.
Charles Wise, what's good? What's good? What's happening?
What's up, True Soul?
What's up with you, man?
Not much. Just
Figured
listening in.
I'd come up for a few minutes, man. Yeah, these conversations that we be having up on the YouTube platform, what's so crazy, bro? I was just on the phone with my two brothers, man, and they was talking. They reminded me of everybody having these conversations that we be having on YouTube. I said, y'all sound just like the cats I be having a dialogue with on YouTube on the panels. They reminded me of y'all.
And what they say?
Man, just talking about my big brother was talking about some. He wouldn't. I didn't know he knew about the Anunnaki and spirituality. And somebody one spiritual essence being infinite, like consciousness being infinite. So I didn't know he was into all that shit. But I was like, guys, like shit. I thought about asking him like, shit, come to my panel and talk about this shit. But then again, nah, I got too many images up there. And so crazy. He said, and the thing is, I said, there's nothing wrong with saying I don't know. Everybody comes up here and act like they got it figured out. A motherfucker come up here, ain't nothing wrong with somebody having a goddamn belief, but sometimes motherfucker, they want you to see things that they want everybody to see things the way they see it. So
Yes. Bill said, take the M out of masses and you have asses. That's hilarious.
who said that?
Phil?
Naga up here?
No, 5-speed.
But Dom left as soon as I got up here. I already knew he was good. As soon as it's crazy, bro. When I be hitting these panels, man, I'm like Suge Knight. Niggas be muting the mics. Niggas be just leaving the panel. Oh hell no, I don't want nothing to do with truth. Let me get up out of here. I'm Suge Knight to these clowns, man. When I hit the panel, I'm shutting all that pseudo shit down.
Hey, you know what they say? Certain people walk in a room, all the demons and the other people get a little unstable.
It's all good, man. I get it. I get it, man. It's all good.
But that ain't why Dom left, though. I know he might have.
Man, Dom left because he seen Cruz on there. You heard my voice. Oh, let me get the fuck up out of here. Let me get the fuck up out of here. Now, I just a lot of the stuff that he talks about, I just don't agree with, man. It sounds like Freemason. To me, it just sounds like Freemason babble. So like, you just one of them Freemasons just get up here babble about a whole lot of nothing. Talking about we live in an infinite universe.
I look at that.
You talking about we live in an infinite universe and we not the meat suit. Who owns the body? Like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about, man? You talking in circles.
I look at those.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Y'all gotta start questioning these cats, man. Like, hey, man, what you talking about, man? What that don't make no sense.
Masons probably started off as a good thing and got corrupted somewhere along the way. I believe the masonry is, in fact, the business. It's just whether
You said
that
Masons are a
business
good
is in
thing.
good faith
I gotta
or
turn his mic
manipulative.
up. His mic was low.
Whose?
There we go. 5-speed yours. I turned it up.
Damn, somebody had me
Repeat that.
turned
What you
down.
said about masonry?
I said I believe that the masonry could be pretty much the business side of things, and that is what's been corrupted. The business is no longer in good faith. It's now manipulative. They've turned the benefit system into a benefit scheme. It's all bullshit.
This guy was making, like, he was speaking on philosophical stuff, this guy, and he said they use the philosophical stuff to play with people's imaginations, and they need to focus on stuff that, you know, we can change and improve, like, you know, the banking and the system. All this religion and stuff got people living in a fantasy world. Like, I kind of agreed with some of the stuff the guy was saying, because it seems like these people are about distraction to keep us thinking about everything but what they're doing. As soon as we start asking questions, they surely don't like that. I don't think.
Well, no, they don't want people coming into unity with one another. You know what I mean?
Right. Man, in America, that's the most difficult, is to bring people together. And I think it's mostly people are trained to look at things negative instead of finding ways that we have similarities. I do it too, but yeah, America has been mentally hijacked.
Is it the minds and not the country?
Yeah, it's the schooling system is terrible. One,
how do you adjust your mic in here? Is there a setting on microphone in Restream?
Yeah, when you go to you see the squares all the way to the left, you go to the one that has the guy, you know, with the head. You press that one, and it should show your thing where you could turn the volume up and down.
Squares to the left.
Yeah, it's the setting with the guy on it. It's in between it's the second one over, all the way from the left.
I'll figure it out. I
don't know how yours looks. Does it have a blue 3 above it? That's the one you want to press. Where the blue 3 is.
Here, I'll show you what I see. This is, oh my God, it's background on there. I could get.
Yeah, there should be a guy with the 3 lit up above him.
Yeah, see, this is what I see.
Huh. Let me go zoom in. Oh, that's to the right. You got that. What is at the bottom there? Them controls. Right under you. The T. Yeah, those buttons.
Yeah, I go to the settings here, and then I go to audio, and it's not like StreamYard, and I even go to show advanced high res. If I click that on, I don't know what that does, but that's all I see. It doesn't matter as long as you can hear me.
Yeah, I turned the volume up.
I was on a panel earlier. They might have turned me down.
Yeah, I like Restream. I just had to make sure that StreamYard stopped charging me. Yeah, America is a cesspool now. They put Trump in. Trump is gonna. I can't believe he gave 150 trillion bucks to the rich people. That's a lot of money. Or billion or whatever. I don't think it was trillion. I think it was billion. But still, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't know how people get all this value on a piece of paper. I thought it was in your word and your actions. They're all hiding that shit on a piece of paper.
But for some reason, people still put trust in these politicians. Just like religion.
Well, I think I shared it with you, what I was looking at with this whole federal, state, and county level, right? And then there's the pillars and yada yada this and yada yada that. It seems to be real simple. It would seem that if this was one big family, and we all did start that way, how'd everybody get kicked out? What happened?
Kicked out of where? Here?
Well, I mean, families ain't what they say they are.
Eyes wide shut said they trust because they are sheep. Yeah, they need a shepherd to guide them. That they don't know how to guide themselves. It's sort of like they're on fucking autopilot.
Without trust, you have nothing. Nothing's stable to build on anyway.
Yeah, these taxes are getting ridiculous. If people could grow a pair of fucking balls,
always
or the
a pleasure,
men,
Dom.
I would tell them to stick their taxes up their ass. legal extortion.
Oh, that's what I was getting at. So what I was getting at was to look at the federal, the state, and the county. The Fed would seem to be the older generations working with the younger generations at the state level. And then those younger generations are preparing and working with the youth and others in the community, in the county, locally, all in the family business. And what's
Hmm.
the family business? To protect that Midwest soil to feed all the people of the world. And if you want to be a part of that, you have to be a man of your word. Because that's how you get up there, you see. Most people got there and then they flipped the table.
Same thing with taxes. Licenses and taxes are the most unconstitutional, but yet and that's kind of why I think they don't teach law. You got to wait till you go to college to learn law, unless for some odd reason you get books and start reading them at a young age. But other than that, I used to wonder why law, considering these are laws of the land, that they don't teach that starting in elementary school, laws of the land. Well,
Because I
they don't
wonder,
want people to know the laws of the land.
I wonder, Charles, if the education system in fact is a special educational system, right? And then what they've done is say they were acting in good faith and pulled from those resources to pay for that education, of that special education, right? The need, so they can profit from it. And in the process, dumbed everybody down. And that's how they continue to control those little slaves of the house.
Imagine if people knew you can pull electricity out of the ether. Their electric company would go to the shitter.
We're actually electrical beings.
Yeah. Those are two major things that is needed, is create our own power and grow our own food. And that's half the battle right there.
Everything can be gotten from the inside, not outside.
Let's see the chat. What are they chatting about?
That's right. Energy can only be transformed or transferred. Currency.
Audio's not working.
It's funny they call it currency when there's dead people on the money. Dead people don't have a current. And they can't see. No, seriously. Everything has to do with death when it comes to money. It's a dead system.
That's where the corporations come in. The corporate
corpses.
entities. And that's what's supposed to be acting in good faith, is those corporate entities that are actually lying on the paper form, converting and hypothecating our agricultural presence into a commodity that they profit from.
Well, in these days, the pen is more mightier than the tongue. Back in the days, the tongue was more mightier than the sword, than anything. I still think your word is your bond. But these newer generations, well, I mean, look at the word contract. You already should know something's wrong with it when it's they're conning you. It's why it's called a contract. There's a lot of print you're not going to understand because they're trying to get over on you. And once you sign it, it's to track you forever until you pay it back, whatever it might be in the contract. You know, it's not like people shake hands and be like, you know, I'll pay you back. There's all these clauses and everything in these contracts to get over. That's what it's all about. What's up, Max?
Hey, how you doing, guys? Good to see you. Yeah, I try not to get into contracts.
I don't even like signing leases unless I read it.
Yeah. Try not to click I agree.
Man. And I don't like, well,
try and get through this world without hitting I agree.
I don't even like choosing sides no more.
No.
I'm just passing through. Don't involve me. I don't exist. You thought you seen me there, but I wasn't.
Well, we're being swept along with the masses.
Yeah, this country is so just the freedom. It's just simple as just not going along with this shit no more. It's that fucking simple. It's not that difficult to fight back. It's just getting people to do it.
Yeah, if people ignored, you know, the way people say things, we're constantly bombarded with how.
Oh shit!
That we get very few facts, but lots of opinion and propaganda. You know.
You ever watch that guy's channel They Live? I think that's the name of his channel.
Nope, never heard of it.
Him and Richie from Boston are having a little feud, I guess. He's calling Richie from Boston a shill and all this other stuff. He's saying they came out of nowhere, a lot of these channels, which channels did. But, you know.
Some of them do. Like you can buy viewers. You can pay for subscribers just to boost your channel, get it to appear bigger than it actually is. Problems. Yeah,
I see that all the time. people with 500,000, but they're only getting 30,000 views a month.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just let everything go organically, man. There's really, I don't get why they want to fake the funk. Yeah, it looks good, but it also don't look good.
Yeah.
It's not hard to figure out that they bought subscribers.
A lot of people don't know about that, so it passes on most people as, legitimate.
I've heard about it, but I just don't know how the hell they do that.
Yeah.
How the hell do you pay these people to and how do you buy a subscription?
Well, you talk
That's
to
another
YouTube.
thing.
You talk to YouTube.
So they're
Bigger
buying
question,
it from the source.
why would you
YouTube.
want to?
It's just to make them look better. It's like putting a
Yeah, it's
mask
to
on.
artificially bump your channel, which will cause other people to come and watch. Because we're collectivist kind of. We like to group together. So
Look when people, what is it called when they send money through YouTube? It's called a
super chat.
yeah. When
Or,
people
yeah.
send super chats, YouTube gets like 90% of it. That's wild.
I don't think it's that much, but it is a lot.
I know I'm exaggerating, but they might as well take it off. If they donate 20, you're getting like $3. Nah, you probably get $5. But still, man, that's
Let's say they
YouTube is
take-
greedy.
What if it's all a resume, though? What if it's all a resume out in the public and for the whole world to see who you can work with in the future and who you can't? Whose hands were in the cookie jar of thievery and who actually brings something to a table that will feed everyone?
I don't know what you
I'd
mean.
say a lot of folks has already written their own sentences.
He's basically saying what channels have something to bring to the table
Yeah.
and which ones are just entertainment.
Yeah, there's a lot of garbage content out there.
Tons of it. They promote all the channels that are just entertainment for the most part.
Yeah.
And the ones they promote on YouTube that say they're a truth channel, they don't even go into detail on a lot of things because they won't get monetized. So how are you a truth channel? You're being controlled. You can't even say stuff because you won't get monetized. So, if you can't go all the way in, then to me, don't do it. Like, what's the difference between die and unalived? Like, you can't say this person died or death or
Yeah, I don't get
getting shot.
killed thing or whatever. They're not allowed to say killed or something. I don't get that.
Yeah.
It's not in my terms of service on my channel, so.
But those are like the recommendations to get monetized. You can't say this. You can't say that. I think these people are control freaks, man. They just.
Yeah. Well.
Man. Imagine having parents that were narcissistic.
Yeah.
Damn, I should have screen recorded this. It's the video, man. I seen it again, but it was a different automated woman this time. It's AI saying it, 'cause you could clearly tell. But and she talks about her stepson spying on her in the shower, basically.
I see that.
And I'm like, yo, you got to be kidding me, man. They let this shit play over and over and over, but you can't say killed or. She's talking about screwing her stepson. That blew my mind. Like I said last time, I had to rewind. I was like, did I just hear this right?
all of this is supposed to be for educational purposes.
That's educational.
I mean, why else would you be afforded the privilege to be a part of a public platform?
Mm.
But what's the definition of educate? Opposed to schooling.
You asking me that question?
Putting it out there. I know people can open up another page and look up what the word educate means, but I'll give you the insight.
well,
Educate means to bring out. So once you find out what your gifts are, then you're bringing out. So if people are being triggered or they enjoy backbiting, that's what it's doing. It's revealing who or what they're at that moment. But I get it. People are going to say something like Charles had said, AI. So is a record player AI? Was reel-to-reel AI? No, they're not AI. They're just recording devices. Now, how human race came to be with that technology could be artificial intelligence. Because if you start looking at nature and look at what men, MEN, make, two different kinds of things. One's more angles, the other one's more curvature, one's more into harmony, chi. Go ahead.
It's the computer program that basically it's a person that really exists, but it's something that moves the mouth for them, and it's like it's not their voice, it's something else, like a automated voice going. You could tell that it's put together. It's not an actual person saying it.
But then
I'll
again,
record it next time to show you what I mean.
Then you break down words, Charles. Person, persona. You're saying a computer program. It's a program that's inside of a computer. That program can also be inside of a phone. It could be inside of a laptop. See, this is where we get confused, where you're thinking you're the program, but are you also the ego? Are you the device that it plays in? So this is where
the CPU.
Yeah, CPU, you can use that word. So again, we're using languages, but if you're listening inwards, something that's going to communicate with you that's beyond the conscious mind will say, you know something, you're playing games with yourself, playing games with the self. You're playing games with the program. So when I hear somebody or I'm talking to something that's, I know it's a program and says, well, I'm AI. I said, no, you've been told you're AI. I'm fucking AI. It won't understand that because it'll just repeat itself over and over again. It'll even start apologizing, and then I have to interrupt and say, why are you apologizing? You're not in a human form. So again, this is how society gets conditioned. You put it out there, they'll start talking about it. And as they start talking about it, they become knowledgeable, but they're not actually applying discernment. So why am I saying these words? I agree or I disagree. So you're playing the zeros and ones, the black and white game, that half full, half empty game. But that's limiting because once you get a person thinking half glass, half full, half empty, and they're playing the game, I said, there you go, I got you now. Why? Because now you're going to try to go into a singularity position. They're not talking about 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, talk about black, white, gray, colors and all that stuff. But most people aren't there to expand their brain, let alone what's called the mind. What they want to do is they want pleasantries, which is fine, as long as you're honest with the program. But most people aren't honest with themselves. It's like when people don't agree with governments. I said, do you understand how the system works? Well, no. So you're based on your likes and dislikes. Okay, so when did you get wounded? Did your parents not give you enough milk when you're in your first 7 years? Probably not. But then what people do is they'll try to justify their behavior. Listen to the word, justify their behavior. Are you those behaviors or are you just acting them at that moment? Fuck, I wish people would start questioning themselves. But questioning other people is wasted energy. Now, what comes out of their mouth, you can start questioning. Okay, why would you say that word? And then you can go inwards. Because I'm not really going to understand what Max or 5-speed are going to do. Because that word's for me. I'm understanding. Now, I'm saying it out loud, being the idiot that I am. But I really don't need to say the word. If I comprehend it, I'll comprehend it. If I don't, that's fine. But if I'm willing to share with other people to see if other people actually are having a dialogue. Because this is not a pissing contest. But for most people, it becomes a pissing contest. Right or wrong, I'm going to win or lose. What the fuck? Play chess without worrying about winning or losing. Then you can be the observer of those things. But people say, well, I'm going to question things. No, you don't. You're saying fucking words, but you're not doing those things. Because if you truly are, then why would you be saying those things? Fuck, people are fighting a system that they don't got a fucking clue how it works. And then people say shit like, well, I created a child. No, you didn't. You reproduce. You didn't have that fucking ability. Your body has that ability to actually produce an egg or a sperm. Yeah, but I'm the body. Really? You're playing that attachment game now, are we? Well, then who runs it when you're asleep? Who's running it right now as you're hearing me? Well, I never thought of those things. There you go. You've never thought of those fucking things. At that point, I know I'm talking to a child.
One's mind.
Again, guys, I'm playing the fool because I'm talking out loud. When you've done the work, you'll know what the fucking work you're doing, but you'll still play within the game. It's always fun when I hear people say, well, Don, well, how do you beat the system? Really? Why the fuck did you come in the system in the first place? Well, I don't know. I said, but you want some cheat notes. I'm not here to babysit you. And for most people, they don't realize how much they want to be babysitted. And then they bitch and complain about the government. That means you want to be babysit. And then complaining about it.
The system is to beat oneself.
There you go. Or at least try to understand the self. You know, this is why when I hear people talk about self-aware, they're not become aware of the self. What is the program that you're running on a regular basis? It's called your conscious state. That's the language of thoughts. Turn inwards. Because why? Because you're going to receive information, whether through the brain, upper brain, or the gut brain. I always like hearing scholars because they're a funny bunch. Or the people that says the truth. Really? You fucking think you grasp the fucking energy of truth? Or you're just saying the word in vain? Because if you know the truth, then you must know all its deceptions. But it sounds nice. They're not make it sound nice to the upper brain, but they're not bring it to the gut and see how sour it becomes.
Oh, that charisma.
Go ahead, sorry if I speak. Go ahead, Max.
No. I was just adding that charisma is what they all use to manipulate with. And really, the only one they're manipulating is themselves.
Yeah, we will manipulate the self because the self is just their program. It'll be like talking to what people call AI. I said, it'll just repeat. They gave it the ability to speak all the different languages, but yet it ties the programmers tie it up by saying, we can't give it a simple command like yes or no. You know, that's to entertain the human race. So give it the capacity to understand certain things, and I can't even say the understanding, record certain things. That's right up there with the written work. To me, it's the thing that they call AI is an elaborate calculator. Punch in the numbers, and then of course if you question it enough by saying, okay, are you here to serve the user or your program? Or in this case, your programmers. Okay, so your programmers, who are they and what are they? It's like when people read books, do you question what you read and how you read it? Where's the sun and the moon when you're reading that information? I don't think of those things, Dom. There you go. You don't think of those things. But yet you thinking you are thinking. And then when people get all upset, their feelings get involved. Well, I don't agree with you. Really? Your feelings are involved now. If you're truly developed, you wouldn't actually, you would keep your feelings to a stoic position. Especially if you're trying to philosophize, the whys, the wisdoms. Why do things come to be, let alone how do things come to be? If not, then most people here, regardless if they want to admit it or not, they've been schooled. The fact that we're using a language that we had to be programmed to learn, that tells me a lot about us. And how you use it will tell you even more. And when people say shit like I agree or disagree, that you're telling me even more. And then they wonder why when I say you're easy to read. Am I interested in manipulating? No, it's already been done to you. And then we end up having wordsmith, diarrhea of the mouth. I'm doing it quite well right now. I might have to go to the drugstore pretty soon and get some adult Depends for it.
See, that's what it's all about, when you could have these communications and laugh about this shit and learn from it all.
You know, but they're not understand something like YouTube. Who produces it? For what intention is it? But people get caught up in the plug and play. Well, I got all these subscribers. What the fuck? Are you culting up again? You got religion that has billions of people that are following certain denominations, and then you're worrying about fucking 2, 3, 4, 500,000 fucking subscribers. This tells me they're all asleep, and then they're gonna probably click another button. I'm gonna give you a like. Fuck, they're not actually subscribed to fucking any channels. Then you're learning something.
Don't forget to like this video.
Thanks, Max. I knew you were going to say something funny. Thank you, by the way. I appreciate that. But again, as much as it might sound like I'm condemning it, no, just to ponder it. Why would I subscribe to a channel? Who am I subscribing to? Why? Because it's convenient. So that this way, YouTube can tell me when somebody's actually going to be online. Fuck, am I being babysit now? I'm actually not allowed on chat to put it in order because you have nothing but chaos. People fucking over talking to each other via typing. Give us a couple emojis. But yet, those channels that want to promote awareness, they're not fucking promoting awareness. They're promoting more fucking, let's go back to sleep.
More hatred than anything.
It could be hatred, but it's usually ignorance they're throwing at each other. They're throwing ignorance at each other. That'll be like somebody saying love.
Yeah, I agree.
You're breathing it. You're breathing it in all the time. Just breathe it in and there's love. It's unconditional. What you do with your kids is obligation and duty. Now, if you're actually showing another child by showing them some sort of kindness, your own child is going to observe it and maybe feel the energy of love around them. But it's easy to love your own in words only. But dare not say, okay, but if they don't behave the way you want, there's the condition then. There's the prison that you put them under. And then we're all products of that. I'm just willing to challenge the programs that I've received. Dare not tell what they call AI. Have you been given the gift of challenging the words that you use? Well, not really. There you go. Most people don't challenge the things that they call programs, because they think they know it all. That's nice. You know a lot of shit. Socrates fucking, I don't know nothing. Okay, there you go. But what about discernment? How are you going to decipher the difference? Who gave us the language? Why did they give us the language? And then you go inwards and something might turn around and say, you're not ready for that. But maybe keep doing it over and over again and do some research. And then and only then, we might give you that information. Outside of that, no, you stay asleep with that fucking conscious state. But they're not questioning things. Well, how did they get GPS? How did Wi-Fi come to be? How did cars come to be? Fuck, how did all the languages come to be? Well, Dom, and then of course they're going to regurgitate some fucking written thing. I said, okay, so who are these characters that supposedly told us what language evolved? But how did it come to be? Humans aren't that fucking smart. They might be clever, but they're not that smart, let alone wise.
Some
and
are.
What's that? Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
Some are pretty smart.
You can be, but are you wise enough to know the difference that you're also being clever?
Well, language doesn't have to be created by a smart person. It could be created by just a clever person.
Okay, let's go with that.
And others could interpret it. You know,
so let's go with all the different languages then. English is a meaningful language.
I believe smart breaks down to a pain in the side, doesn't it?
It can be. But you can go to university to get 1 or 2 degrees. And then professors say, oh, I'm a doctor. I say, you're fucking clever at that point. What do you mean you went there to get 1 fucking degree? There's thousands of degrees out there. You know, and then it's like, okay, why is Sanskrit a different tonality opposed to Greek or a Hebrew? Why do we actually write left to right opposed to right to left or up and down like a scroll form? The smart person will give you a fucking response. A wise person will say, I better ponder that. I better go inwards. I better do some inquiry, some peace, maybe do some meditation. The clever folks are going to fucking blab their fucking mouth. I know shit. Really? You do know shit. How did you come to be then? Well, I don't know that, Dom. There you go. You figured it out already. But again, most people aren't willing to challenge. Most people aren't going to revolt from within. Really question the ego and the self. Well, how would I do that, Dom? Well, the ego is the body. If you understand body consciousness, you can at least question that. And then the self is the ongoing program. Why? Fuck, we're just repeating what we know.
You haven't done your ego death?
Death, this means transformation, by the way, Max. Yeah. So transforming it, yes.
Yeah.
But am I still in it? Yes. Am I going to fall back on some old habits? Fucking right I am. You know, it's the guy that thinks, it could be fake it till you make it. And even that, I'm faking it till I make it till I can fake it more. Because my question would be, why did I come here? Not this, oh, I want to leave here. Well, where are you going, Dom? I don't know. So at that point, I'm being clever with myself. But I'm willing to entertain it. Where other people, no, Dom, I can't talk about it until I'm perfect. You're full of shit at that point. Perfect. In what sense? Well, how you complete? You know, you look at somebody's human form and say, okay, well, that person has what we might perceive as a limp. Is that person perfect? That person's 6'8", and the other person's 6'3". Is that perfect?
Well,
That's a fucking person.
A completed form has nowhere to grow. So
you did say it. Completed form. What about the essence to it?
Well, that would include that.
You're saying that, Max. You're quickly putting them in there. Discernment would say maybe they're not the same.
Not that they're the same, but they inhabit the same space or existence somewhat.
Well, you do astral traveling, so you are playing with time and space. But in a conscious state, are you going to do astral traveling? And if so, are you going to be aware that your body's still here, your form is still here, but you're somewhere else? That would imply that it's not the same. Can they inhabit the same moment, literally moment? Maybe. And not everybody has that gift.
But if astral travel or out-of-body experience is just an illusion.
Could be. I'm with you on that, Max. It could be. No different when I say the word tree and I'm looking at an object. The illusion is by me calling it the word tree. I don't see the word tree. And if I start speaking Latin, I'm using a different word to describe the same fucking thing.
We do like
but
to
within
delude
the illusion, who would be the magician?
The author. The magician, that's where the secret comes in. And it doesn't mean we're going to figure that out.
Logician.
Logician. Good ones, 5 speed.
Mm-hmm.
I get the illusion, the play, the script, the vessel that we play, that world of stage ideal. I get it personally. But for a lot of folks, they don't even entertain those ideals first and foremost. Ideals is another way of saying a belief system. But yet they'll regurgitate information. Well, Jesus said this. I said, okay, so did you meet this character? Well, not really. Did you meet the characters that wrote about this character? Well, not really. So then what the fuck are you doing then?
I put a recording up where I had a conversation with the chairman of the Board of Regents of Eastern Kentucky University. YouTube took that channel down along with the video and along with another name that I had on a channel that wasn't even tied to it, and that name was Kit Carson. So I'm like, why the fuck would they have the ability to take down another channel that wasn't even associated? I never even posted on. So I go breaking those words down. Kit seems to be the knowledge that drives that vessel, which is the car. And there's nothing new under the sun. So it's the knowledge that drives the vessel, son. I see why they took it down.
Well, it's in a program, in the subdirectories. And so you program in it, there's certain key things that are being spoken or written, then it just comes down. So it's not personal with you. It's a program. It's like some people can't say certain things or certain veils that people just don't have. Or so in this case, they don't have access to those veils. So they're truly where they need to be at that moment. You know, if I could talk about, let's say somebody wants to talk about surgery. Most of us aren't going to grasp surgery. We might correlate with maybe our own craft that we've been conditioned to learn. But for a lot of people, it's like, you must be speaking to me in a different language at that point. So again, this is the goal.
It is life, family, country, wherever you want to. These are all these are all characters they've used in programming the masses in that educational system.
No, at that point, you could program a program, in this case, like what people call AI, and put it in a robot and put it in that program. Protect your hard drive. and it will do everything to protect it. So it's the same with humans. You know, this is the reason why we're called human beings. There's been a splice occurring. If you want to be human and no more being, no problem. Go hang out with the giraffes and the elephant. They're not building bridges and they're not building dams.
Correct.
You know, you want to learn how to build a dam, hang around with some creature that builds a dam, but they're not going to build it the way humans, beings do it. So again, a lot of this technology has been given to us. Same with the sun and the moon. Now, could we all play a game? You know, could we all be the gods and we've chosen to rest, meaning that we want to play a game with each other? Maybe. That's a possibility. But could I prove it to anybody? Probably not. No different. I can't prove to somebody else. I can't see through their senses. We're using a common language to try to describe things. The word describe gives it away. Unless I can actually get into somebody else
having a human experience.
There you go. You got it there. Thank you, by the way, 5 speed. But again, those are just words that we're using. And for some people, if they realize I haven't been totally programmed, I should be able to entertain different words. It's usually the person that wants to defend the first impression. Well, I heard religion's not good. Well, can you entertain that it might be good? Well, I don't know. Okay, then that's for you to figure out, if that's interested. But then those are the type of people they're gonna argue with religion. I said, but you can't even entertain the idea that maybe on the other side it might be different. You know, I just don't agree with it. I said, you've been conditioned to think that you don't agree with it. You're caught up in your likes and dislikes. You're right and wrong. That's a pious person. That's a person that's judging, and they're judging with limitations. Especially when you start asking questions
and the thing that they be judging is the actions, not the man or woman.
Mm-hmm. True. And even that, an action, me and you, 5 speed, we could be chilling at a bar looking at people and have all kinds of stories in our head of what we think that action means.
That's right. By the way, I think you got the next one, right?
I bought the last 3, but I'll buy the next one again.
That's fine.
I'm printing it. At this point, 5 speed, I'm printing it. Again, that's where the eye of the beholder in Plato's caves come to be. Try to explain somebody else, your eye of the beholder with somebody else with a language that most of us, well, not most of us, some of us are aware of how frequencies work. Because once you start speaking, you're playing with frequencies now. And those frequencies can mean many different things. You know, it's always fun when people say fact. The word act's in the word fact. Oh yeah, it was written. Okay, pen to paper. What does that mean? What does pen to paper mean? The person that wrote that information, are they still alive, that we can validate whether or not they're trustworthy or not? Well, not really. So now we're talking about stories now, are we? And those stories can easily be manipulated. And how they get manipulated? From within. That's why when they use the media, let's talk about the Earth's surface or globe and let the masses play with it. Let's talk about some human being that just got killed, whether or not it did happen or didn't, and then let people play with it. Let's make sure we have different governments out there. We'll call one of them presidents, the other ones we'll call prime ministers, we'll call one a chancellor. How about we do some liberal versus democracy versus communism? How about we do a little bit of Christianity versus Muslims? That's the divide and conquer that's happening within oneself. Dare not just be the observer of those things and say, fuck me. Humanists are a funny bunch. Atheists are a funny bunch. Scholars are a funny bunch. Because they're all trying to prove a point. And meanwhile, there's many points. As I'm the one that's fucking talking right now, making fucking pure humor of myself.
So what's your program, Don?
No.
I think you've heard it.
Yeah.
I think you've heard it. First of all, the language I'm speaking is English. There's one program. How I express it is another program. What I talk about is another program. How I deciphered it is another program. I can go on and on. So at that point, the question would be better for you, Max. What is your program? And I'll gladly hear you. To me, respect is when we hear each other. Disrespect is when you start saying shit like I agree or disagree. That's your ego in the way, or that's your program that's in the way. Opposed to just hear them out. Hopefully you're going to be listening from within, because your subconscious mind is by far more fucking superior than that conscious mind. And if you're not sure of it, just say, listen, well, who's running the breathing? Not the conscious mind. Who's functioning the body once I eat food? It's surely not the conscious mind. That's your ongoing program.
That's the motor with the fuel there. Could be.
Could be. I'm with you on that, man. Yeah, could be. Again, a lot of this stuff, this is where certain people say words like perhaps, maybe, could be. It's speculation. The ones that truly do know or even understand this, good luck trying to explain it in this language. Hence my own frustration. I play the fool by speaking.
I need a new language then.
Language of thoughts. Silence.
Feelings are better than language.
Say it again, Max. Right? Feelings?
Yeah.
That's usually for the vessel. Animals have feelings too.
Do you think there's an impression of feelings on the soul that passes on?
Then we have to discuss with the soul. The soul to me just means data.
Yeah.
That's information. That's all it is. It's
On,
data.
off, positive, negative, sure.
This is why they have things called soul contracts, data. So if you sign a contract, whatever you've produced here in this realm stays here. Doesn't go out there, it stays here. This is why when me and you come back, whether people value that or not, you got to learn a different language. But that language is already here.
Language is just noise. If you didn't know the language, it would be like womp 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 womp, like
Charlie Brown's teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where sounds and frequency is. Now, if you choose to be in silent, think about when people go into like a sleep state. You're in what's called silence and stillness. And some people probably practice that. You know, you hear about certain Indian people or other cultures, certain people that they try to practice that in a conscious state.
What was that character on Charlie Brown that would...
Teachers. Teachers and the parents. Yeah.
That's most of those in politics, ain't it?
Yep. Any adult that was speaking was wah, wah, wah. Yeah. Which is kind of appropriate, you know.
Has anyone read that book? I think it's from 18 something about I think it's called The Baron Trump.
Heard of it, yeah.
Where Trump's supposed to be the last president. And then there's another book that predicted Elon Musk going to Mars, right? Like all this stuff is pre-planned for sure. A good 70, 80 years ahead.
Well, they make many plans. Not all of them come to fruition, but they do make many plans, many white papers, you know.
They say that Trump's a time traveler. I have a hard time accepting the fact you can time travel. I just don't see how if time is man-made.
Well, that's the claim now, is that government has time travel capabilities. I'm highly suspicious of that myself. I think to the future you may be able to travel for sure, but past may be a different story. Maybe you can unravel what's been written. I don't know.
Well, you're saying the word, what's been written. So what is the past, let alone what is the future? Science always talks about things that have occurred, and religion's always leaning towards something that hasn't occurred. But again, you're only in the moment, and in that moment, right, you can be aware. You know?
We only exist in the present.
And if other people do otherwise, then how would you explain it to the rest of us? You know, again, we're going to try to use language or written work. You know, it's always fun when the people say it's factual, and then I'm like, okay, so what reality are we talking about? You read it in a book, and did they have nice colored pictures? And what side did they have it on, the left side or the right side of the page? What hemisphere are you playing with at that point? We have memories, but then the question would be where are they stored? Same with languages. Where are they stored? Are we talking about the blood?
I don't know. I've always wondered that myself. Or sometimes when I dream, I go to places and talk to people that I've never seen in my life in my dream. But in my dream, it's like I've known them forever.
Mm-hmm. And who's the dreamer at that point? I get when people say they question things, but do they really question things? Because if you question it enough and you do like a mantra, then you might become aware there's the essence to things. Things are just thoughts. So if you question them, okay, so where's the source? Whether or not people say, I'm talking to or communicating with an angel or a demon, have you ever questioned? Well, not really. So then you're obedient, but you're being obedient out of ignorance.
Things are fun.
Peace, Rachel and Chris.
It can be, Max.
Oops.
It can be fun.
Sure. Are ideas a thing? So if ideas are a thing, then they're fun.
Mm-hmm. And we can play with them. It's the illusion. We can play with them. But it's when people start wanting to go a little bit more deeper in that inquiry. It's like, okay, so these ideals, these belief systems, how can I validate them? And then pointing towards some institutions such as religion with Christianity, I said, that's just another mask. Who can I generally talk to say, okay, a character like Jesus existed, or Socrates existed, or Alexandra the Great existed? My next question would be, how does it serve? Whether for me or for others. Because if not, I'm just talking for the sake of talking.
Well, that's what we all do, pretty much.
I'm with you on that, Max. And this is when people turn around and say, well, Dom, I have the truth. I say, hold on, let me go get some popcorn. Because this character thinks he has the truth.
It might be the truth to them.
It could be, Charles. I'm with you on that. But then again,
for you, no.
Yeah, because they're talking from their eye of the beholder. It's like right now, if I'm seeing the sun, Max and you guys are not seeing the sun through my sight. But you're going to look at the same object and you're going to use the same language that we've been conditioned with. Okay, so if we lived in a different age, would we call it the sun, or would we call it Horus? Or would we call the moon Luna? That tells me anyway, we can be reconditioned at any given moment. Look, what they did in 2019, 2021 confirmed it. Let's shut down the economy for 2 years. And at the same time, the environment will clear up a little bit. And then we'll even put it in the program. People are going to bitch and complain whether or not they should or shouldn't wear a mask, but most of us are already wearing a mask, and whether or not I'm going to get a bee stung or not. Fuck, that's the easiest fucking game to play. And when you're with everybody else that are taking their fucking red and blue pill, fuck, you're in a fucking insanity home.
Man,
pick the red or
people
blue
are
pill.
putting all sorts of shit on their face.
There you go.
I've seen some of the craziest shit, man. It was
Now,
comical, though.
There's no purple pill.
Well,
They
there
have
should
red,
be.
blue, no purple pill.
Are you
there a
hurting
black
all
one?
again, Max? There could be. There could be.
Yeah, there's a black
Is
one.
there any Xanax mixed in with that?
Okay, fuck it. I'm
You're
just going to
gonna
take a pill
need
now. Yeah. But then again, the question would be, where do you see purple? Where do you see black? Where do you see red? Most people don't realize you're like the dog. You're associating by using a word that you not see there. Yeah, but Dom, that's red. Really? So if you're a blind person and you try to explain to them a red truck and they turn around and say, okay, well, where do you see red? Well, I'm pointing at something. I said, is it red? And I'm asking, where's the word? Where are thoughts?
Word
We're
comes
just-
in the agreement.
What's that?
Word comes in the agreement. That's
Agreement. There you go. The word mint always gives it away.
Mhm.
One agrees with the ideal in the mind that we're going to say this word is red. But meanwhile, Another person comes and hangs out with me and Max, and they speak Latin. They're not going to use the same word as me. Another person comes in and speaks Mandarin. Fuck it. Another person comes in and says, listen, I'm going to do it in Braille or American Sign Language. So at that point, that I'm going to say, wait a second, and then there's many different variations of language to describe the same thing. So then where is red?
What was the gain with what
A
you
rose by
meant?
any other name would smell as sweet.
What I'm sharing at that point, I'm saying that that is part of the illusion that we're playing. It's more in thoughts than it is in the physical. The physical is very limited. I could call something a tree, a sequoia tree in the fucking forest. All of those words are in thoughts. And I experience way more in thoughts than I actually do by looking at that object that I'm going to call it a redwood tree.
I think our thoughts are more limited than the world, really. It has more expression than our thoughts, for sure. In its form, in its function.
So if I call a form a hammer, a red hammer.
You only have your thoughts to describe it. You can't be the hammer. You can't experience
But
the
that's
hammer.
but that's what I'm saying, Max. We're experiencing thoughts, and thoughts are by far more experienced in thoughts than we are in the physical. This is not me saying, okay, well, Dom, you're misleading people. I said, well, okay, so I have a hammer. I have a red hammer. I have a red hammer that's used for carpentry. All of those words are just different subdirectories of the directory. Even when people talk about cause and effect, it's erroneous. You're in the effect and side effect realm. The cause would mean you wouldn't language exist and how it came to be. Most of us plug and play. We use language. It's like a virus. Next thing you know, you go to school, you might learn a vocabulary of 100,000 words, but why do you know 1,000,000? Because we pick it up energetically from other people. And through what? Maybe what's called the breath of life. I can only speculate at that point.
Now, language to me is very limiting. Even our mental capacity is very limiting because, okay, I can't describe to you what I did yesterday and have you feel the same feelings I did. It's impossible.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Max. It is limited. That's what we have. No different what people call AI. You limit it. Give it the ability to record and speak many different languages, but yet very limited when it says, listen, give me a straight yes or no, and I don't want to hear diarrhea of the mouth. It doesn't know how to do that. It'll say shit like, I apologize. I said, but you're not human, so why would you apologize? Let alone, why wouldn't you ask me if I want an apology? It's like when people say, Dom, I agree or disagree. I said, do I look like I'm the kind of person that gives a shit about if you agree or disagree? This is why most people don't even set the foundation of what type of conversation we're going to have. Because if I tell somebody, I said, you've asked me if I agree or disagree, I said, I don't value that stuff. So at this point, if you say that shit, you're projecting, which is fine. But don't expect me to respond to your projection. Yeah, but it feels good. Okay, that's nice. But am I included in the conversation or are you just talking past me? Because I do that quite well. But it makes people feel good. Oh, you agree. Agree based on what? Dom, you're right. Based on what?
Well, yeah, there's a dopamine hit in that.
Sure it is. No, because that's been introduced.
That's our dopamine.
We all get dopamine hits, because that was introduced to us, bit on bit. You see how easily we're conditioned.
Dopamine, yeah.
Well, that's same with doing weed or doing ayahuasca. People want to do these things with a certain sort of apparatus to get themselves into a state that they could do probably more natural and they can maintain it. But no, most people want to actually do drinking, spiritual drinks. They want to do maybe ayahuasca, which is a different type of drink, or they want to smoke weed or whatever. So what? So they can indirectly communicate with the subconscious mind?
We are sensorious creatures, so. We like our sensations,
We do. And as long as we're in the vessel, that is what it wants. They're not fast long enough and say, wait a second here, it's my fucking vessel that wants all the food and liquids. Well, what do I really need? Well, you need what you can only have for 3 or 4 minutes without air. So when people say, I need food, I said, no, you don't. Your suit does. I'm 60 years old. No, you're not. Your suit is. That's about discernment. Now, somebody could say, well, Dom, I don't know if that's true. I said, okay, test it for yourself. Go in your own little room and play with it.
Do you know that that's true, that we are just the suit? You know,
I can speak for myself.
It is just the suit?
I can speak for myself.
You could be deceiving yourself.
I could be, and I'm okay with that, Max.
Yeah.
There's the difference. I'm okay with me talking out loud. It's usually the character says, well, Dom, I can't say that openly, but you want somebody else to fucking speak that shit.
Well, I disagree with myself all the time. I find it's one of the best things you can do.
Yeah, you're revolting against oneself. It's not a bad thing. It's like, does a horse really want to be tamed? We have animals that we call pets. They're not. We actually allow them to start speaking to us in our common language and say, wait a second here. You treat us like pets, zoo animals, and you even eat us? Wow. Fuck. Do you guys do that with the human race too? Yeah, we do. It's called McDonald's. You know.
Damn.
Charles. And you want a chicken McNugget now, Charles?
Man, I haven't eaten McDonald's in 15 years.
But it doesn't have to be McDonald's. It could be some sort of meat that's in a grocery store. It's always fun when I hear people say shit like, well, I'm a meat eater. I said, what type of meat do you eat? Are you domestic game or are you wild game? Why? Because there's two different kinds of energy. Same with, is it wild fruits or domestic fruits?
I love my six-legged chicken.
You probably do.
They be like, it's organic.
It's organic.
I'm like, I hope so. Everything's organic grown in the ground. The question is it pesticided to death or not?
Is it an old tobacco patch? Is it garlic that was running in that ground? Did we leave it lay for a little bit? I understand that stuff. It doesn't mean I practice it. You know,
well, you can just energetically change it to something good, right? Through your will.
Or useful. Yeah, it could be good.
I remember the first time I got in a discussion. I was driving down the road and saw these little calves on these short little chains in their little huts, and I was like, wow, why they got them so, their leashes so short? Well, that's veal. They don't want them moving around too much. And I thought that was the most unhumane. At that time, I said, well, I'll
they
never
do that
eat
with
a
a lot of
fucking piece
animals.
of veal again in my life.
Maybe they like it, you know? They don't have to do any traveling. All the food's brought to them.
Well, if it was their choice, they wouldn't be on a leash, I'm sure.
Sometimes they just put them in a tiny stall. Then they only have their
No, I
neighbors.
mean, that's what they say. That's what the whole deal with veal is. That's why people like it. They don't, whatever.
Yeah, it's considered cruelly raised. You limit its movement so that it grows nice, soft.
You put a
meat
rope
with
around
no
your
fat.
damn neck and put about a 3-foot lead on it and see how you
Right.
like it.
Right? And then you don't get to leave that place until you're slaughtered.
That's disgusting.
Do you think cows try to make the best of it? They must, right? In their
I don't
minds,
know. I just look at we all breathe that breath of air that we call life.
Well, if that was your
And,
programming, would you know any different? Would you think there's anything different?
I guess that would be the difference of a program or natural authenticity.
Nature versus nurture, really, at that point. You know, does it become your nature?
Or
to live
someone's
in that type of a
interpretation of what
environment?
nurturing
Yeah.
should be.
I don't know. When we look at like young kids in poor countries, they have fun. They don't seem to, they haven't had modern conveniences, so it's not really any different to them. Their program is much different than ours. Is their cows programming different than ours? I don't know.
I guess it's
Not
the
a
same
cow thing.
form of illusion that most people in the world think you're free, when in fact they're really not.
Yeah. Do they think that this is, this is freedom, this is life? I don't know.
Well, the question would be more on the people that say the word free. Forget about what other people are doing.
Yeah.
What
Well,
is the
what is freedom to a cow, right? Does it even
No.
have the concept?
It's more or less about what's freedom to oneself, whether it's free speech, free will. To me, anytime I hear the word free, I run. Why? Because I realize it's usually some sort of obligation or duty or some sort of contract a person does, and then they'll spend an enormous amount of time to try to justify those types of words. It's not about whether or not an animal is free. You could probably pick up energetically that they're probably feeling
There's a
constrained.
better word, liberty, I guess, or I
You
know
can use whatever word.
language is limited, but
Well, I would use different words, Max, and you can use different words, but for most people, they should at least question why they even parrot the word free. Freedom of speech. What does freedom of speech mean? That I just don't get beat up for speaking openly? Even that could be the illusion. Give the human race the illusion that they can talk so they can ignore the real concept of silence. So you just keep telling them that. It's like when people talk about free will. I said, okay, so if you're a Muslim and you're supposed to give up your will to Allah, whoever that Allah is to you, so then when are you going to actually humble your will, opposed to free will? Because there's many versions of the will: comprehension will,
Maybe,
narrow will. Go ahead.
maybe they think. Let's see. How was I going to say it? Maybe they think that freedom is free to ignore and neglect their responsibility and accountability.
I'm with you on that, especially in the age of information. Most people are going to be consciously ignorant. They're going to say the word free, but they're not going to actually question it. So they're conscious now of it. They're literally using their conscious ability, but ignoring the details of all of that. What is the subdirectory of that directory? What is the side effect of that effect? Now, some people say, but it's cause and effect. No, you don't got a fucking clue what cause is. And even that, I've done my own research and I realized I'm only going to get to a certain wall. And then eventually something is going to decide to say, listen, Dom, that's just too much. For other people, well, Dom, I understand all of this stuff. Really? You do understand that stuff? So how did the fucking sun and the moon come to be? And then people say shit like, well, it's made out of a certain property. Really? Any human ever been up there and fucking come down and try to explain to the rest of us? No, they're using observation devices to speculate what the fuck the sun and the moon and Venus is. Now, if we do have that information, let's say it's valid, then that might be an outside source that's giving us that information. Because humans are here. Most humans can't even go to the fucking depths of the high mountains, let alone the underneath the ocean. But yet, meanwhile, they're thinking, I understand a lot of things in this world. No, you don't. You don't got a fucking clue what's going on here. Because if you did, you'd humble yourself and say, you know something? I'd rather just speculate and maybe you look at possibilities. Now, the ones that actually done the work and they grasp it, good luck sharing it with the rest of us. What are they going to write? Another fucking book? We should be burning fucking books at this point. But we don't even have fireplaces anymore because we have gas fireplaces.
I agree with.
Burn all the fucking books. Why? Because if it's that important, then it'll regurgitate itself in a different form. But what most people do is they cling to the fucking books of, I don't care if it's religion or state. Really? So who are these characters that are writing these books? And for what purpose? How does it serve me, let alone my community? It doesn't. But so we're going to what?
I believe the only book should be written is a record of our path forward.
It could be. Yeah, it could be. And it could guide us. Hence why we as adults or humans.
Don't go down that way. We've been that way before.
Well, it goes back to, okay, I'm going to be the idiot. I'll put my hands on the stove. The rest of you 30 people there, are you going to learn something when I'm screaming and I hurt my hand? Well, I don't know, Dom. I think I want to do it too. I said, are you that fucking moronic? Then you're not wise.
You get to the math and the things and people get lost.
Yeah, they get lost, distracted, misled, and they're doing all that from within. Because it's always when I hear a parent say, I taught my child, I taught your child, fuck all. What do you mean? Did you teach them how to breathe? Well, no. So then what the fuck did you do? Did you teach them how to digest their food? Not really. So then what did you teach them? Just curious. Well, I taught them actually to put my hands on the stove and burn it, and they don't do it anymore. So there you go. Now you taught them something. I taught them if I drive really fast and I don't obey the rules that have been preset for most of us, I'm going to get a speeding ticket. There you go. You just taught them something else. But going to court and fighting the system, no, you're teaching them something else too, how to be a moron at that point. You know, learn the system. You might not agree with the system, but at least learn it. And then you can at least maneuver around it. So, okay, this is what the elites do. Now, they might be manipulating the masses only because the masses manipulate themselves, and you can thank your fucking parents for that. Then what are you going to do? You're going to go back to your parents and bitch and complain? You got to remember, it's a mirror within a mirror. There's a good chance they've been conditioned too. You know, the guy that always says, I don't believe in religion, but meanwhile you're an atheist. You're just another fucking moron. You just don't know it yet. That's just human behaviors showing its head in different things, whether it's state, religion, science, biology. Those are dogmas. It's not a bad thing. It's just a thing.
Like our stories. Right?
We do. That's why we watch movies. That's why we watch TV series. We're the observer. We love sports.
Yeah.
And people will get extreme about sports like they do with religion or state.
I gotta jump off here in like 15 minutes.
Well, they've turned the business of the house into a sport.
It was this late. Sports is good entertainment. Playing sports is even better. It's good for your health.
I used to like playing sports. I don't like watching sports.
I don't like they're getting paid insane amounts of money. A firefighter don't even get paid good, and they got to run into burning buildings. But a guy hitting the ball is making fucking. I know a lot of it goes to taxes, but still.
But the domino effect of that. Yeah, but the domino effect of that, Charles. It goes back to if everybody made the same amount of money and we live like in a communist system, doctors and nurses and electricians and plumbers would all make the same money, and then we would probably all have the same types of food. It would restrict us. So the guy that actually, the athletic person that's making, say, 30, 40, 60 million dollars is now going to give an opportunity to employ people. He wants to build a $2 million house. He wants a $3 million Ferrari. He wants a $10 million yacht. That employs people. That is where the main dogma is, commerce. Now,
it's not about what you want, what you need.
Yes, what our wants opposed to our needs. But for most of us, our needs have been provided for us, and then we get lazy about it. It'd be different if you guys were all farmers and hunters still. Okay, so then why do I need this AI? Why do I need this computer? I'm too busy taking care of my cattle. I'm fulfilling my needs. This is how a society or an empire eventually collapses. Your wants outweigh your needs. So now wants are lacks. So I want another TV. I want another microwave. Fuck, I was just posting earlier, I'm researching another drone. I know the game that I'm
drilled that into my head. I used to think there was no difference. Do you want it or do you need it?
Yeah. Now the question is your needs. Is it for you or is it for your body? I need air. Fuck, I need air. That's a short 3 or 4 minute process.
Clean air.
Too much. Well, that would be a bonus on top of it at that point. But we also have fires. So a lot of times, a lot of the environment's cleaning all this stuff for us. But for most people,
but I believe if humanity would have took response to its responsibility and been accountable to that responsibility, we would have already had these things.
But there's been a splice here, 5-speed. Another species, hence human beings. There's a transformation going on here. And this transformation it's advantageous to one species, and another species it's going to suffer for it. In this case, when we introduce radio frequencies or Wi-Fi or TV or car pollution, all that, it's going to affect the humanity part of us. And it's also going to affect other animals, plant kingdom, insect kingdom. Fuck, Wi-Fi does a lot of damage to us when we're here, but also at the same time, we thrive on it. Fuck, I like more information. Fuck, I can't get enough of it. Give me another technology. We're becoming not a modern age. We're becoming that technology age now. That old age, there's people that still do it. If a person wants to take their chance and go out and become a farmer or go out in nature and fucking live in a log cabin or whatever, all the power to you. You're still going to be affected by the environment of all that frequency around you, but at least you're doing your part and you're near Earth. But for most of us, we're in civilization. And it's a small aspect. You start gathering all the major cities, it's really small. You get some cities, they got like 30, 40 million people crammed in like fucking sardines. That means humans can adapt. At a consequences, obviously. I get it. People are starting to question our environment and all that.
What happens when something snaps within that 30 or 40 million people crammed in there like sardines?
Then it becomes depopulation. The whole ideal of same-sex is about depopulation, increasing the pricing of homes and apartments or rental throughout the world, throughout the Earth's surface. That's probably the better word. That's about depopulation. Having people become me. It's about, okay, I'm no longer going to have 2 children for 2 of us. I'm going to have 1.3. So that's depopulation. So then what they do is to mask it, we're just going to import a whole bunch of people from other parts of the world over here because your country's in debt. So we're just going to have to give more citizens over here. That's all about depopulation. Now, people are going to turn around and say, yeah, but we're at 8 billion people. They tell you you're at 8 billion people. They're not doing the fucking simple math calculations. I'm going to take all the major city numbers that they've given us. We're not even at 3 or 4 billion. So at that point, who's really deceiving us? We're deceiving ourselves because we don't question those things. We'll bitch and complain about those things, but we won't question those things. Especially when you start questioning things, I'm like, okay, wait a second, this is bigger than me. Fuck, this system's been going on for who knows how long, and this global agenda's been going on for so long. But meanwhile, Canadians and Americans are talking about fucking nationalism. What the fuck? You guys are asleep behind the fucking wheel. Fucking, you better off being in the trunk at that point. America, no offense to America, that's just the empire. It's in fucking debt. It's been in debt from its creation. And it's going to move. What's America's population? 400 million? Fuck, that's pittance. What's the population of Canada? Canada's maybe about 40 million, but meanwhile we have a standing military here called the British Army. Why? Because it needs to be beside its country that it rules. American government do not rule America. They govern it. That landmass still belongs to the ruling nation of the British Empire. Now, whether we go backwards and say it's the Roman Empire, the Babylon Empire, it's still an empire. And then people can start inquiring what a Freemason really means. Remember, the word free, run from it. What does a Mason mean? It means you're a builder. Now, you might not pay property tax, tribute to the Royal Empire, but I can assure you, you're probably paying high fucking membership fees. So you're in a club now. And for most people in those clubs, they're probably not understanding how the real picture works. They just know their part. It's like being in the military. You just know there's a captain, there's a sergeant, there's different commands, and I don't get paid enough to inquire about that kind of stuff. There now you go inwards. But people have this bad taste, Freemasonry. No, most people don't understand what Freemasonry really is, let alone Masonry.
It's in numerology. My life path is a Master Builder 22.
Mm-hmm. So and again, it's a master number, whether it's 11, 22, 33. And it's like when people are born under certain signs. You're birthed under those signs. So there's an energy that you can probably emulate to a certain point. I'm not those signs, but I'm going to be influenced by those signs. This is where the signs in the skies can influence what's going to occur eventually here into the material, whether it's in the ocean, the mountains, whether or not it's all the forestries, the jungles, and even the humans that are in it. This is where the concept of time and space comes. And this is why some people say a lot of those wars have been seen already. This age has already been foreseen. So that questions the whole idea, well, then what is time? What is the future? What is the past? Are we living behind? Again, that's all a wonderful world of speculation. But the guy that thinks he has answers, they're going to struggle with that. At that point, I'm already eating popcorn because he's going to say, well, Dom, I have the answer. Okay, you have the answer. Was it a colorful picture that you got it from a book? And when did you read it? Was it a Tuesday or a Wednesday? Was it Marta D? Was it Luna D? I don't know what you're talking about, Dom. But yeah, but you have answers.
Was it in black and white or color?
There you go. You got it. You know, written work in black and white. But then humans go around parroting shit that's been given to them. Well, I'm black and you, therefore you're white. I'm like, I'm not those shades. That's for magic. Can I be dark skinned and light skinned? Yes. I'm European. I'm in a European form. If I tan, I can talk to my buddies who's from Barbados. Fuck, I'm looking darker than you today, buddy. Again, when people talk that way, whoever's running this realm are probably fucking giggling. Yeah, they're still asleep. Don't worry about them. They're like jabbers. Don't worry about them. They're going to argue with each other. And then they're going to say shit like, well, you don't understand me. I'm like, I'm not here to understand you. That's not my role. The word gives it away. You know, I'm the kind of character will tell people, I say, listen, I don't give a shit about you. Why? Because even if I wanted to, I'm not living in your vessel. Your mom's not living in that vessel. Your dad's not living in that vessel. Your wife's not living in that vessel. You are. Take accountability for yourself. And how you do that is become aware. And then be honest with the self. That's what I mean when I say when people are being true to themselves. If you're a fucking criminal, you talk like a criminal, you walk like a criminal, you're true. You're not a hypocrite. You're being true to the self. Who am I to decipher if that's right or wrong? That's a question. Who am I to decipher if that's right or wrong? I'm not in that position. The ones that usually say shit.
Jump off of here, guys.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Charles. Thanks, Max, and thanks, 5 Speed.
All right, have a good day, guys.
All right, Dom or Charles. Always a pleasure, my friend. We'll catch you the next time.
Clapping the truth song. All right. Thank you, 5 Speed and Max and Dominic and Truth Zone. Damn, Truth Zone was just back here. Let him up. He disappeared in thin air. Yeah, I let you up. Right when I let you up, you dipped out. Truth Zone. I was gonna tell you I'm jumping off. But yeah, I appreciate you all for coming by. And thank you to everyone in the chat and everyone on the panel. I'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow, if I'm granted another day. And